What's going on, guys? Chuck here, and today we're going to get nasty. And when I say that, of course, I'm talking video nasty. So, most of you out there who watch this are probably familiar in some form or another of the video nasty, or what they are, what they were. For those of you who may not be in the know, let me enlighten you a little bit. The When we talk about video nasty, we're talking about basically a collection of films that were put on a list, three separate lists to be precise, by the BBFC, also known as the British Board of Film Classification, in the 1980s, that they deemed were just immoral, irreprehensible, disgusting, whatever the case would be, and should not be shown to human eyes. They were just awful, awful, whatnot. And this was spearheaded from a woman named Mary Whitehouse and others around here, and just basically went and it's a big thing about censorship and and whatnot. Which there are so many books, like so many YouTube channels you can go to get way more in-depth information that can give you a lot more background than I can. But that's just the gist of it. Like I said, this was a series of films put over three lists. So it's actually 154 films put over three different lists that were deemed just immoral, more or less. And because of that nature, or because of that infamy, if you will, they become a very sought out thing for collectors in physical media. More specifically in the horror genre, of course. And like I said, there are so many more probably books or documentaries you can see, YouTube channels you can check out. Quite frankly, you search YouTube, you'll find plenty of videos discussing the video nasties. There's a the Video Nasty Project was a really popular one that was on YouTube. You watch, they broke every film down. However, they've been, unfortunately, due to YouTube has taken them down, put it back up. So, they've had to re-upload their stuff on several occasions, unfortunately. But I think they're still out there on Psycho Toaster Productions, I believe. You can find their videos, and highly recommend checking out. They're a very good source for learning about the video nasties and censorship in film in general. And they go beyond the video nasties, but that's kind of what that started with. But so there's so much more out there that can give you way more background information than I can. What I'm here today to talk about is how my education kind of started with the video nasties. Now, to be perfectly honest with you, I can't remember how I learned about the video nasties. Part of me thinks it was just, surfing through Wikipedia somehow. And sometimes you get in those moments. It's kind of like with YouTube. You can get on YouTube and it's falling a rabbit hole of different things. And your Wikipedia was the same way for me, a lot in years. I mean, in my old job, I worked on a shipping and receiving dock, and toward the end of the day, things would get really quiet, bored. You're waiting for it to kill time. There's nothing going on. You start browsing, the internet, and I was a person who liked to get on Wikipedia and just read about stuff, and or whatever reason, and of course, you click on links and you just go over the place, and somehow, I don't remember for sure, but I'm pretty sure that's how I came across the whole idea of the video nasty list and what they were. And I would read about the films on Wikipedia, and that's kind of really all I got from that. Until, and man, my memory's so fuzzy on this because this goes back probably about like 2015, 2016, somewhere on there, maybe earlier, quite frankly. I'll have to look at the dates on this if possible, but somewhere along the way, I discovered that there was going to be a DVD release of the most comprehensive, I guess, documentary, at least was claiming to be, on the video nasties. And it was called The Definitive Guide. Video Nasties, The Definitive Guide. And it's like, wow, that's really cool. I want to check that out. I mean, that sounds really awesome. However, the caveat to that was this was only being done in England, overseas, Region B. Didn't have access to a region free player at the time. I was like, well, that's too bad. I really want to get that. I'd literally love to see this. So of course, this was the official catalog. There's a couple of reasons, but this was like a big one. But there's this and two other things that maybe decided to get a Region B player. Just for the sake of completion, those other two things were I was collecting the WWE pay-per-views, the big four: WrestleMania, SummerSlam, Survivor Series, and Royal Rumble. However, the Survivor Series, because I had like the anthology for that whole set up until 1996. Of course, 1997 is the infamous Screwjob, Montreal Screwjob, not available in the States anywhere. That was not available for release here on home media for whatever reason. It's like they skipped. They went 98. 97 happened, then there was like 99 was on VHS or something, but that was it. It's so funny. They never released any anthologies collections past those first 10, which is really weird. But anyway, in England or Europe, whatever, they had this series called Tag Classics, which actually pitted Survivor Series 1996 and 97 on one disc. So, and that was the way I could get it. So I wanted to reach a free player for that. The other thing being, there was a Creep Show DVD, which had a whole lot more special features than the bare bones DVD that we had here in the States. The one in overseas, the Region B DVD, had behind the scenes special features. It included the documentary, which you can get separately now, which I do have. But I was like, I've got to get that because why don't we have that here? So it was those two things, and then wanting to get but the Video Nasties, I think, really sold it because I was like, I really got to get this. So yeah, I think I went on Amazon UK and ordered it, which was my first overseas DVD purchase. I ended up buying a fairly cheap region-free DVD player, which I still have, actually. I don't use it because I have a region-free Blu-ray player now. And I'd waited for this thing to ship because it was going to be, the definitive. It was a limited edition. Also, that's one thing. It was limited, so I really want to make sure I got this because once it was gone, it was gone. So I got it. I wasn't even concerned with the conversion from pounds to dollars or whatever. I just bought it, and it finally arrived, and I was so excited when it came because it was everything I could have imagined and dreamed of, but it's so much more. So this was it. This is the Video Nasties, the Definitive Guide DVD. This is a 3-set DVD, which is really cool. And like I said, this is a limited edition. This was number 1,259. I don't know if it tells me how many were supposed to be on here or how many, what the number was. So I'm not sure about that. And the total runtime on this is 13 hours and 25 minutes. You're like, wow, that's a lot. Well, what this contains is a documentary on it's Video Nasties, Moral Panic, Censorship, and Videotape. And it's a good, documentary basically giving you the history of the Video Nasties, talking with, it's a talking head documentary, with some of the people who are actually involved, some of the political figures, the legal people that were involved. It's actually pretty interesting, and a lot of people who just grew up and knowing about this stuff. A lot of British celebrities or people, not everyone I'm familiar with, or critics, movie reviewers, whatever. But it's very fascinating. Of course, people who would know things, and of course, you also have a couple of professors and scholars discussing the idea of censorship. It's a really fascinating documentary, but I don't know if that's really the meat of the DVD or if it's what the other two discs represent. So that's disc 1. Disc 2 and disc 3 are trailers for all 72 of the films that are prosecuted. You have disc 2 contains trailers for the what we call the prosecuted list, which were the 39 different films, and disc 3 contains trailers for the non-prosecuted, which has 33 different films. And it's cool because you can watch them straight through. You can watch them one individual. You can watch them with an introduction by someone who's talking a documentary, giving you like in this either a brief or sometimes very extended information about this film and its history or something. It's very cool. I mean, it's very engaging how it's all done, and that's a lot of fun. As a person who loves trailers, I mean, seeing some of these trailers and it's a joy. It really is. But that's again, there's so much stuff that's on here. Let's just you look down. There's all the stuff on here. On disc 1, besides the documentary, which again is Video Nasties, A Moral Panic, Censorship, and Videotape. You have 50 minutes of pre-cert video company ident nostalgia. So these are for all these random videotape companies. They have their own little logos, whatever, and they're basically just showing all these different fancy logos popping. It's endless. It's pretty cool, but it goes on a while. You have image gallery featuring artwork from the 80 titles included in the DPP Section 3 list, which we'll get to in a minute. So all that in Disc 1 is 3 hours. On Disc 2, you have original trailers plus newly filmed introductions to the 39 nasties that were successfully prosecuted in UK courts, and this is very hard to read, I'm sorry, and deemed liable to deprave and corrupt. So there you go. Plus, you have an image gallery featuring artwork from all 39 video releases, and of course subtitles, trailers, and that's over 5 hours on that disc. Now, disc 3, you have original trailers plus newly filmed introductions for the 33 nasties that were initially banned, but then subsequently acquitted and removed from the DPP list. Image gallery featuring artwork from all 33 video releases, optional English subtitles, trailers, and that's over 4 hours. So there's a lot of stuff on here. And it's all very engaging. It's very fun. And, of course, this being a limited collector's edition, there was some goodies inside. So let's pop this open. So here we are. Here's your discs, 1, 2, and 3. Fortunately, you see this is free. They're not rubbing against each other. But inside here, you've got postcards. So you have with posters of some of the movies, like Zombie Flesh Eaters, and of course, this is an actual postcard. And it actually has a little description, of the film and some information. This was promoting the art of the Video Nasty book. Let's see, Cannibal Holocaust. I won't put that up here too long. Driller Killer. I Spit on Your Grave. And Nightmares and a Damaged Brain. So those are pretty cool. These are some of the films that are on that list. So you get this. Like I said, is a great DVD documentary. Anyone, and I imagine most people who were, interested or, about in the Video Nasties or, a horror film collector or, enthusiast, I'm sure they have gotten this in their library. Now, not to be outdone with this, like I said, this is only covering the first 2 lists of the Video Nasties. Not to be outdone, not long after, they came out with Video Nasties, The Definitive Guide, Part 2. And this is covering the Section 3 list, which I can't remember the details in that. They weren't prosecuted, but it was basically they could be seized and destroyed from shops. I think from someone had them. And this list actually has more of the more familiar titles. I mean, it says like Friday 30 Part 1 and 2, Prom Night, I believe. The Prowler is on this list. But this also was a 3-disc set. This is also a limited edition, and this is number 5,672 of 6,666. So this one actually gave me the number of how many were out there. And so disc 1 on this also includes a documentary called Draconian Days, which basically, I think this goes in talking about the whole Section 3 and what it meant, and how it affected shopkeepers and so on and so forth. Fanzine flashback. Image gallery of 300 rare British fanzine covers from 1985 to 1995. Section 3 image gallery of 82 band video sleeves. Section 2 image gallery of 72 band video sleeves. And there's Easter eggs. Find them for more nasty fun. This is over 3.5 hours. That's on disc 1. Disc 2 is the list A through L, which is 5 hours. And it's the same thing. They have trailers. You can watch them individually. You can watch them straight through with or without introductions from the people in the documentary. Disc 3 is the list from M to Z. Because this 6-3 is all one list. It's divided by 2. And that second disc is, or third disc is 4.5 hours. That second disc was 5 hours of it. So you've got so much. What's the runtime altogether? Does it have it on here? No, I can't do math, but that's a lot of hours. And this too was a limited edition. So, pop it open here. And like the previous one, you've got the 3-disc set. It's very similar. And you've got the postcards again for this. And again, we're hyping this Art of the Nasty book, which I was not able to get. They just went out of print. But you've got the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And again, these are postcards. Same thing. Headless Eyes. Naked Fist. And Werewolf Woman. So that's pretty cool if they have these all in here. And again, these are both Region B locked. Only available. They were limited editions. This is the only way you're ever going to get them. They're never going to be sold in North America. So if you didn't get these, you're out of luck. Not true. So I've had these and they were great and so excited. And then actually I said not long, but maybe about a year or two after the second part came out, lo and behold, Severin got the rights and released both of them under their label. Now these are not limited editions, so they don't have all the bells and whistles. Actually, it's got everything that the limited editions have, with the exception that they don't have the postcards. That's it. Everything else is still here. 3-disc set, all the same features and all that. You're just missing the postcards, and they're not limited numbering. But they are actually, yeah, they're Region 1, so they can play it here in North America, which is great if you weren't able to if you missed out on the limited edition Region B UK releases. Severin's got you covered with these editions, which I picked up anyways, so I could just play them freely. But I obviously kept my other ones because they were limited editions. But inside, again, same thing. The disc. I think the artwork's slightly different. Compare. Oh, that's one. Nope. Well, yeah. So here's the limited edition, and there's the standard. So it's slightly different. The coloring is slightly different, but for the most part, that's really the only difference. Again, and you're not getting the postcards that you get in the limited edition, but the documentary is there, the trailers are there, all the other goodies are there. It's just lighter. The back is a little different, and the same thing for part 2. Open it up, just your discs, and the back is slightly different, but all the same goodies. So again, if you weren't able to get the Region B DVDs, the limited editions, Severin has, or at least had. I'm not sure if they're still available on their site or not. I don't recall seeing them recently. They may not be available, but you may be able to pick them up somewhere if they're not. But again, if you're not familiar with the Video Nasties, you want to get familiar with the Video Nasties, this is a great way to get caught up and learn about it, and actually kind of expose yourself but learn about other movies. Some of these obscure titles are out there, and really a lot of these titles on here, the only reason they're even known to this day is because they were on the Video Nasty list. But like I said, there are, because of the infamy of the Video Nasty list, these films are sought out by collectors to have, the whole collection, the 72, and a lot of these aren't great films. Some of them are just awful. Why they were even banned or considered immoral is questionable because most of them are just ridiculous. But 1980s, what are you gonna do? Um, Now, I've gone through, and actually, I was trying to a while back, collect these myself when I first heard about these. Now, I was kind of an off and on start again, stop again kind of thing. Just recently, I did a number check on I have an app on my phone I talked about before, which I catalog all my movies, and I have a section where I can kind of break them up into series. I did create a series of video nasties, so when I get them, I categorize them in that. And I just did a number check, and turns out that I actually had 91 of these, which blew my mind. Out of 154, so it's still a big chunk missing, but I didn't realize I had that many. And a lot of them that I got, I mean, I've over more recent years, I've probably sought out more, or not only sought out more, but I've buying stuff from Vinegar Syndrome and especially Severin. Severin really deals a lot with video nasties. I actually think there's one of the films I bought, House on Straw Hill, from Severin. It actually has a documentary on there too, like it's like a band, the Sadists. I can't remember, but it's basically talking about video nasties. Like one early documentary. Well, I think the creator owner of Severin Films was really big on the video nasties. He's interviewed on those a lot, and he might be on these documentaries. I can't really remember. But I purchased a lot, these films over the last couple of years, so I boosted up my numbers as far as collecting them. And some I just had, before I even the video nasties were stuff like I Spit on Your Grave, Hills Have Eyes wasn't on there, I don't think. Might have been like Section 3, or Last House on the Left. Obviously, Evil Dead, Friday the 13th. Some of these more mainstream you just had, and then there are ones I just have on dumb luck. Stuff that there's a couple of, like Driller Killer was one I have, just because I have one of those Mill Creek 50 movie boxes, and it's on there. It's not a great version. It's pretty crappy, but I have it technically. And I know there's like I think Arrow has a good version of there on Blu-ray. I should probably pick up. But again, I just from dumb luck, I've been able to acquire a lot of these. And actually, I sought out some. Some I just had, and some were just like, oh wow, I have that. Imagine that. But again, it's just, to me, what I find fascinating about the video nasties isn't like the quality of them. It's the reputation, which is really kind of what sells most of these things. Is because they're under video nasties, that's why you want them. Like, so most of these films aren't very good, and some are actually better than you think they would be. Not many, but it's because of that, being the infamy of being on the list, and then it's a part of history, in a sense of at a time when these when censorship was rampant, at least for these films, and what we could watch, what people thought wasn't deemed appropriate for the public consumption, and so on and so forth. And again, I'm not the person to make that argument. There are much more highly intelligent people who could do that. And like I said, I recommend you go out and find those and really get a more in-depth discussion and background on the video nasties. And if you can pick up these, check them out and watch the documentaries. They're fascinating. They're very interesting. The trailers are fun to watch. It's just, again, it's a chunk of film history that I'm always fascinated with. I always like to have and just preserve, if you will. Now, as far as collecting goes, I've always wondered about this. are you considered a true collector if you only have these films on DVD or Blu-ray, or 4K in some cases, which is shocking too? Or are you really only a true collector if you have these on VHS? Because that's the cool thing when you're watching the trailers and they have the introductions in there. People are talking, and a lot of them are holding the VHS copy. A lot of them are big clamshell boxes. It's really cool. It's a great piece of nostalgia, and it makes sense because being on VHS and those big boxes sometimes it just feels dirty. It feels wrong. It gives it that ooh, this is forbidden fruit kind of thing. Not as clean and prestigious as you're holding up a Blu-ray 4K DVD, which seems more high end and cleaner, if you will, as opposed to that darn down and gritty, dirty VHS tape, which just makes it nasty. So that's all I got for this. If you enjoyed it, just click thumbs up, share, subscribe, leave me a comment below. Let me know, your thoughts on the video nasty. Have you seen these documentaries? Are you a collector of them, or you never heard of video nasties until just watching this? Whatever the case may be, or just say hi. I'll always take hi. So until next time, this is Chuck saying I will see you on the other side.